What's going on, everybody? We're going to get ready to get this show started. Thank y'all for sticking with me. Just had to do one last thing. Definitely thank y'all for putting up. I know I was supposed to normally go live on Wednesday, but I was out of town. Definitely out of town away, on vacation. So I have returned. I am back, and we are going to get ready to get into we're definitely get into the Tennessee Titans as the final preseason game is upon us, the dress rehearsal, and cut down day on Tuesday. So we're gonna find out who makes this team. Who makes this 53, who is gonna be cut from this 53. So we're definitely gonna find that out definitely within the coming days. So definitely go ahead and make sure y'all share this show out. Go ahead and make sure y'all go ahead and share this show to everybody, let everybody know where they can come on in. And we're gonna do the same thing in just a bit. We're gonna definitely get the show started. I hope everybody's doing all right. And we're gonna get everything started in the next 60 seconds. Let's do it.
Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god. Call me a god. Let's go. I'm about to go off like a weapon. Fuel to the top, got a filled up engine. In my thoughts, obsession. I will not stop, no, I'm never second guessing.
Good evening, Titan Nation. How's everybody? What's up, Titan Nation? How's everybody doing? Welcome into TNT Tonight, the Friday edition. Since I wasn't on Wednesday, I was actually in Florida on Wednesday. So definitely do thank y'all for being patient with me and coming on in and tuning in. Hope everybody had a very good week so far. It's Friday, as some people in my circle like to call it. So definitely come on in and join us. And also make sure you share this show out to everybody. Share this show out whether you're on Facebook, Twitter X, or Instagram. Definitely make sure you share this show out. I'm actually doing that as we speak, whether you're watching on YouTube or if you're watching on LinkedIn. Definitely come on in and be a part of the fun. I'm actually, working on sharing this show as we speak right now. So I am definitely doing my part, and make sure y'all do the same as well. Also, again, as you come on in, make sure you hit that like button. Go ahead and smash that like button. And if you're new to the channel, go ahead and smash that like button as well. Go ahead and do that. And in that way, you will be a part of the show as well. And definitely help me out and definitely help out the channel as well. So I definitely do appreciate everybody tuning in. And we are going to get ready to get this show going. And so, and again, also make sure you check me out on iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts from. Definitely make sure y'all tune into that as well. And I definitely do appreciate everybody being a part of, definitely being a part of this channel and everything, because I definitely do appreciate it, because you didn't have to do it, but you come to the very best spot for Titans content. So I definitely do thank y'all for that. I thank y'all for being a part of this journey with me. And we're definitely going to have a lot of fun. So let's get right into it. So training camp is wrapped up now. Training camp's wrapped up. And, the final dress rehearsal is about to happen on Sunday afternoon, the final preseason game. And, we're going to see who makes this roster. Who makes this roster and who gets cut. We're definitely going to find that out. And it's going to be very, very interesting to see how all of this is going to shape out, with everything, because, things coming out of camp is that, the offense still not in sync. The defense is figuring some things out. Arden Key's suspension has been overturned. So he is fully able to play week 1. Now, he did get a little dinged up. He got a little dinged up against in practice, but he should be okay. They say it's nothing serious. So that's a good thing. But, that it's going to be very, very interesting to see how all of this plays out. Traylon Burks got hurt a little bit, but comes back to practice. It looks like DeAndre Hopkins should be ready to go by week 1. So, again, I definitely do think there are some good things that are going down, but we just got to be, mindful of what's happening, because, there's a lot of things going on with this football team as we get ready for week 1 in a couple of weeks. And I'm glad we got a couple of weeks, before the season does start. But yeah, there's a lot of things happening right now. I mean, there's really not a lot coming out of Titans camp now. Although I did see Jelly Roll made an appearance. And I'm starting to like Jelly Roll a little bit more. I got to really start listening to his music, because he's an avid Tennessee Titans fan, but he's extremely, extremely extremely talented. Excuse me. That's what I meant to say. What's up, Daniel Berry? DO9 says, worrying about this offense. I mean, I'm not going to worry about this offense, because they haven't had a lot of time together against other teams. And so, it looks like Will Levis and the starters are going to play quite a bit in this game against the Saints. And we're going to talk about that in just a little bit. But they got some things they got to iron out. They got some issues they got to get out and get together. Sunshine Lavender, the lady of the show, thank you for tuning in. Derek Roberts, what's up with you? Y'all make sure y'all share the show out. Let everybody know where they can come on in. But this Saints game is the last tune-up that we have before we head up to the Windy City of Chicago week 1 to face off with the Bears. So we got to come with it, because the Bears are definitely going to come with it. The Bears ain't going to play around. Purse carrying Caleb Williams, he's going to try to get his first win. They're going to want to make a statement on us. So we got to work out these kinks. The things between Levis and Calvin Ridley, it's got to work. But the thing about it is, this is a whole new offense. Will Levis is trying to be taught, hey, take what the defense gives you. Get the short intermediate passes down. Don't always try to go deep. Don't try to force it to DeAndre Hopkins all the time. I make sure DeAndre Hopkins gets the ball a lot. I'm going to make sure Ridley gets the ball a lot. I'm going to make sure Boyd gets the ball quite a bit. It's going to be a lot of balls to go around. So that's going to be something that they got to figure out. Offensive line, I think, is slowly starting to come together. They have the issues. It's not perfect. But it does look like the right side of the offensive line has been decided. And it looks like it's going to be Dylan Radins at right guard and Nicholas Petit-Frere at right tackle. That looks like that's the way they're going to go. And I'm actually feeling better about that than I would a Jalen Duncan or John Ojukwu playing at that position, because both of those guys suck. They suck tremendously. Now, we do need to find that swing tackle, maybe find the backup tackles to them. I know Brunskill could play both positions. or could play all over the line. That's something there. But we don't really have that depth as far as the next tackles up behind NPF or JC Latham. And that's going to be a bit of an issue. That's something that they may have to work out. Maybe it's Leroy Watson. Maybe it's Garon Christian. Maybe we'll have to see about that. But Jalen Duncan and John Ojukwu cannot be the guys. They stink tremendously. When it comes to that. Tight end, is another position. What's going to happen there? I know you're going to have Chig, you're going to have Wiley, you're going to have Nick Van Nett. Does David Martin Robinson make this team? That's something that we're going to find out, in this game. We got to see him do some things. The running back position is something that we still got to look at as far as who's going to be the third back. And again, we're going to get into that because we're going to have stock up, stock down as far as the top 5 players who I believe have made the team and the top 5 players who I think are in real trouble and in jeopardy of getting cut. So we're definitely going to talk about that in just a bit. Defensively, there's some guys stepping up on that side of the ball. And we're going to talk about that in this game. There's some guys that are really setting themselves apart in a good way, and some guys that set themselves apart in a bad way. And so, as a matter of fact, let's go ahead and get into that game. As the Tennessee Titans beat the Seattle Seahawks 16-15, they remain undefeated in the preseason, even though we know undefeated in the preseason means absolutely nothing. But some things that I think we did figure out in this game, Mason Rudolph is the number 2 quarterback. Mason Rudolph is the number 2, and there is no denying that fact. I think Mason Rudolph led the Titans, I believe, to their only drives where points were scored. Like, Malik did not lead them to points, but Mason Rudolph did. And so he looked a lot more composed. He looked a lot more poised in the position that he was put in. Definitely like that. Chance Campbell and Jalen Harrell both showed out yet again. Jalen Harrell with 2 sacks, and Chance Campbell still looking good, leading the team in tackles. I think both of those guys have solidified themselves spots on this team. And in Jalen Harrell's case, I think he's going to have some bit of a role as a rotational pass rusher. I really think he could be showing something. And so I definitely like where he's headed. Chance Campbell, I think, has a chance to be a backup, definitely could do some stuff on special teams. But I do think he may be able to carve out a role for himself if Gibbons gets hurt. Although I really think he could have been challenging Gibbons for that starting spot. But I think they're going to give Gibbons the benefit of the doubt. And so I definitely like a lot of what Chance Campbell has done in this camp. On the negative side, Trey Avery stinks. Trey Avery stinks. He sucks. Just not a big fan of him. There's some other players that really didn't do anything to set themselves apart. Backup running backs really didn't do much of anything as well. So that was something that is a little concerning. But the man of the night is Braden Darvelson, the backup kicker who drilled 3 field goals, including a 59-yarder in the end of the third, close to the end of the third quarter. And Coach Callahan, Brian Callahan basically said, at first, I was not going to call that. I was not going to let that kick happen. I was going to sit on the punt team and punt the football. And special team coordinator Colt Anderson convinced him. He said, hey, let this kid try from 59. Let this kid try from 59. If that was Nick Folk and we had that range, we'll probably punt the football in a real game. But he let that kid go out there, 59-yarder, and he drilled it. I mean, straight down Broadway. That kick probably would have been good from well over 60, maybe close to 65, because that kick had distance and it had room to spare. Now, there were some talks about his accuracy issues in camp and in practice, but with the lights on, he drilled it. Now, I would like to see him on our practice squad, but you know how messed up things are with kickers around the league at times. I could see him landing on a team, especially a team that would need a kicker. So I could definitely see that happening after drilling that one. But that dude, he at least deserves a shot on the practice squad and could be our kicker of the future. Now, Brian Callahan has already come out and said Nick Folk is our kicker in the regular season. However, I will not be surprised that if Nick Folk struggles, Narvelson could be called up and could be the guy going forward. I think he's our kicker of the future because Nick Folk is in his 40s now. So we need a younger kicker. And Narvelson could be just like what Ryan Stonehouse has been. And we've had some issues trying to find a kicker. But maybe this could be the one. But I definitely like that. So other than that, it was a pretty boring game. Other than those type of moments. It's a pretty boring game. But the Titans do get the win at the end. And improve to 2-0. And they head to this game in New Orleans. You know, with the player looking like they're trying to lock up some spots. And again, talking about this New Orleans game, this is the dress rehearsal. The starters are going to play a lot. Final tune-up. You got to tune up a little bit because you got, after this game, you got 2 weeks before week 1 in Chicago. And, you know, the Bears are going to try to prove something. They're going to try to want to unleash their new toy in Caleb Williams on us. And we're going to have to hit them. We're going to have to hit them. We're going to have to hit them hard. And we're going to have to cause them to make mistakes. But this time, Caleb Williams ain't going to be throwing at Trey Avery and Eric Guerra and all of them. He's going to be throwing that with L'Jarius Sneed and Chidobe Awuzie, which I believe Awuzie will be ready to go week 1. Roger McCreary is another. You know, Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams are going to be on the field this time. So there could be some good things that definitely happen with this Titan defense. And then offensively, they're going to have to work out the kinks. And that's the best way to do it is to work out the kinks in season. Do not expect perfection right out of the gate. Don't expect the Titans to just hop 30 points on a team right out the gate. But I do expect that the Titans are going to at least be able to hang 21 to 24 points in the game. I do think they're going to be able to do that. And so this offense is really going to be trying to figure some things out. And I think Will Levis is a little bit more experienced. And I think he'll have the upper hand. The Titan defense, Denard Wilson, can show Caleb Williams some things he's never seen. And so preseason, you don't really see a lot. Regular season, you're going to see a whole lot of different stuff. And so that's what this Saints game is going to be about. Just kind of fine-tuning some basics before Chicago. And, you know, working out some kinks and trying to get themselves together for week 1. That's just what I want to see. I just want to see some cohesion, some consistency. I like Pollard and Spears together. I want to see this offensive line protect. Excuse me for that. And, you know, I just want to see Will Levis get into a rhythm. And again, defensively, I want them to get after, you know, get after the quarterback, whether it is Derek Carr or Jameis. Get after him. And so That's what we really want to see. I don't really have a lot of expectations for this game. I just want to see some consistency. That's the main thing I want to see. Consistency out of both sides of the ball going into week 1. That's what I really want to see. And so, you know, so I don't really try to put a lot of stock into the preseason and everything, but you know, this is dress rehearsal for Brian Callahan and the coaching staff as well, who ESPN ranked 28th in the league. And you know, a lot of people are thinking the Titans are not going to do very well, like they're only going to win maybe between 4 and 7 games. I think the Titans are going to do better than what other people think. I really do. I think the Titans are going to be better than people expect. And, you know, that's something that we're going to definitely find out. I'm excited about this season. I am very excited about the season. I am looking forward to seeing what this team is going to do. But, you know, again, what I'm looking for in this game, consistency, cohesion. I want to see J.C. Latham continue to grow into that role at left tackle. You know, Skoronski, you know, Callahan has said, you know, he's working on, you know, he's done better with hand placement and anchoring. I want to see MPF and Dylan Raiders look good on the right side. That's going to be key. And so I know Josh Wiley, you know, a couple of injuries right now. Josh Wiley's in concussion protocol. I believe Kearis Jackson is in concussion protocol as well. Not 100% certain. And then, of course, again, Treylon Burks was out. He returned. Caleb Farley, you know, was practicing, which was good. And so, you know, I just, you know, again, I think that, you know, this offense, I think this offense is going to grow as the season go on. I think in the end, this offense is going to be pretty good. There was a question put out saying, will Will Levis be the Titans' first 4,000-yard passer in Titans history and be the second since Warren Moon? I'm going to say yes. I think he does hit 4,000 yards. And then Chris Fraser said, we be okay. We're going to find out. Because I know, you know, we're going to find out if your boy Treylon Burks will do something in this game. Because it looks like he came back to practice. He should be good to go. Defensively, again, I want to see some pressure. I want to see some more sacks. And, you know, let's cause some turnovers. You know, let's really cause some turnovers or two. And things like that. You know, for a lot of these guys, it's going to be their last opportunity. And they need to show up and show out. And so now, I want to talk about the 5 guys who I think are going to make the team and the 5 guys who I think are in the most trouble. And we're going to start with the guys that I think are going to make this team. And this was not very easy for me to put together, especially in the back end. The first person I think that secured himself a spot on this team is Jaquan Jackson. I think Jaquan Jackson, definitely for what he could do in special teams and things like that as far as being the punt returner, I think he is this team's punt returner. He is this team's punt returner. And I think he could also be the kick returner because I thought Kearis Jackson could be the kick returner, but he's dealt with some injury, which it's come at a very inopportune time for him. So, you know, that hurts his chances. But I do think Jaquan Jackson has made the football team as the punt returner. Chance Campbell, I think, has locked up a spot on this team. He will definitely do a lot on special teams. I would like to see him get in rotationally with Gibbons and play some linebacker, but I think he's definitely gonna do some work on special teams, and I think he's locked up a spot for certain. And Jaquan Jackson, let me go back to him. He could definitely do some stuff as a receiver as well. I hope I get to see him do some of that stuff in New Orleans, because, I mean, he's going back home. Tajay's going back home as well. But I want to see Jaquan do some more things as a receiver. But I think as the punt returner and maybe the kick returner, I think he's locked up the spot. And like I said, with Chance Campbell, he's going to probably do a lot of special teams work, but he's shown he deserves to be on this team. Julius Chestnut, I just think he gets the nod over Jabari Small and Hassan Haskins as the third running back. I really do. Even though he had that fumble, I think he is the better running back of the three that's left. Now, I'm not saying that anything's going to be great off of that, but he's a different back than the two that we have starting. So he will be definitely a change of pace when we need that. Number 4 is Jalen Harrell. And I don't think he's just locked up a spot on this team. I think he's going to have a definite role. Like, he's going to get some snaps in an outside linebacker rushing the quarterback. Because you know what they say, you could never have too many pass rushers. Because I really do think you're going to have Key, you're going to have Landry, I think you're going to have Shane Ray in there, and I think you have Jalen Harrell. Which leads me to another thing in one of my guys who I don't have making the team. And the last one I think is David Martin Robinson. I've heard too much about him. And I do think we could carry 4 tight ends. He could definitely help in the blocking game. He could definitely help in the receiving game. So I definitely do think he could be a guy that could benefit. I think he's a guy, he's still got to show a little bit more. But I do think he is that last guy that I think makes the team. Because I've heard so much about him. And so, I do think they carry 4 tight ends. I think they carry 6 receivers. Next week, I think I will definitely do, maybe on Monday, I'll do my preview of who I think is going to be the 53-man roster, because the cut down is on Tuesday. So I think I'm going to do a quick show where I talk about who I think makes the team or not. So definitely stay tuned for that. But here are the 5 guys that I think are in big trouble. And that's these guys right here. And the first guy I think that's gone, and I'm just going to go in no specific order. Trey Avery. Trey Avery stinks. He sucks. I think I think it's time for him to be cut. I think he needs to go because he is an absolute liability. Even though I almost put Gabe Jeudy-Lally on this list, but I think he's an honorable mention, and mainly because I think he still has the outside shot to make the team. But Gabe Jeudy-Lally, all that smoke that was started up in camp has quickly fizzled out. He hasn't really played very well in the opportunities that he's been given. And so I don't really like his chances of making the team either, but I would rather go with him on the team than Trey Avery. Trey Avery sucks badly. He needs to be one of the first ones cut. Absolutely. Now, I got Malik on this list. I don't think he gets cut because I think he'll be the 3rd quarterback. He'll be that emergency quarterback. But he hasn't done himself any favors in games. Mason Rudolph just looks much, much better as the number 2. So I do think Malik makes this team. He will be the number 3. But again, he hasn't done himself any favors. And he hasn't shown why you go with him over Mason Rudolph. I just haven't seen it. So Malik, I think, will make the team, but he's in trouble. He could definitely get cut. He could be traded. I could see that happening too. But right now, that backup quarterback spot is Mason Rudolph's spot to lose. Next one is Hassan Haskins. And I mentioned Julius Chestnut in the previous spot as far as one of the guys that made the team. And I just don't think Hassan Haskins is it. You gave him a chance. I don't think he delivers. I think him nor Jabari Small has really delivered. And that's why I think Hassan Haskins is off the team. Just really hasn't shown anything. Even though Brian Callahan has called him a special teams demon. But I don't think he's done enough to show he deserves to be on the roster. Absolutely not. Next one is Kyle Phillips. And as I mentioned in the last segment, I think Jaquan Jackson's the punt returner. And you already got Tyler Boyd as a slot guy. So if you're not having Kyle Phillips as punt returner and you already have a slot guy, why do you need Kyle Phillips? What is he good for? And so that's why I think Kyle Phillips doesn't make this team. Now, he might go in as one of the last guys for more depth, but I don't see the need to keep him. Because, again, you got Hopkins, you got Ridley, you got Burks, you got Boyd, you got NWI, who we know is going to make this team. The only way I think Phillips makes this team is if they carry 7. If they carry 7 wide receivers, then he might make it. It'll be between him and Mason Kinsey for that last spot. And if I had to choose, if there were 7, I'd give that last spot to Mason Kinsey. Honestly. But the number one guy that I think is in the most trouble is Rashard Weaver. Because he has shown you absolutely nothing. No sacks this preseason at all. Jalen Harrell, I believe, already has 3. I want to say 3 or 4 sacks in this preseason already. And Rashard Weaver has shown none. So, I think I'm done with Rashard Weaver. I tried to believe in him, but he just doesn't have that dog in him. That relentless attitude that Brian Callahan wants. He said you want to be resilient and relentless. And I just don't see that with Rashard Weaver. I see it with Jalen Harrell. And I just think, like I said, with Landry, with Key, Harrell, and I think Shane Ray might make it over him because, Shane Ray, even though he may not have a lot of stats either, I think he's shown a little bit more. And Rashard Weaver has really just not shown anything. And that's why I think he's off the team. I really do. I think Elijah Molden will make the team, but I was kind of wanting to put him in this he's in trouble thing because Quandre Diggs and Jamal Adams are going to be there. But if one of them goes down, he's probably going to be the next guy up. I think Caleb Farley deserves an opportunity to play. Another guy, Mike Brown and Matthew Jackson, the backup safeties, I think one of those 2 guys is going to be gone too. So I definitely do see that. But these are guys that I think are in the most trouble that may not make this team. And so I want y'all to leave me in the comments. What do you think of the list? Who do you have making the team that I did mention? And who do you have getting cut that I did not mention? Make sure you leave that in the comment section here on TNT Tonight. Again, make sure y'all smash that like button and also hit that subscribe button if you haven't already done so if you're new to the channel. And I definitely do appreciate everybody tuning in to the show and everything. And thanks to everybody who helped celebrate my birthday as well. And then, of course, make sure you follow me on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple, and Google Podcasts as well. But last but not least, I want to talk a little bit about the Steve McNair documentary. I actually just got to watch this today. Watched it before coming on. And I have to admit, it was very interesting. It was a very good documentary. Really went into the depths of what happened. Went deep into it. Now, I knew there was a mistress, and it was a woman that killed Steve McNair and then killed herself. I didn't really know who the girl was. I just knew it was a young female. And it was basically a fatal attraction. Didn't even realize that. They questioned a lot of people. And the thing about it is, all we know is this girl shot Steve McNair and then shot herself. But by the way this documentary looked, it seemed like more people were involved. And I'm sorry if I'm spoiling it for people who haven't seen it. You just got to go check it out. But it really went down the rabbit hole. Like, Jeff Fisher was on there. Brad Hopkins was on there. One of his closest friends was on there as well. There was a guy who dated the girl who eventually was with Steve. And they come to find out there was a whole lot more. Like, there's a lot more about Steve that a lot of us didn't know about. And so it really was an eye-opener. I was like, wow, I did not know all of this. And so, got to relive, the bad moments, but got to relive some great moments too of his life. So definitely check that out on Netflix. I thought it was a very, very well put together documentary. Shout out to my homegirl. Shout out to the princess, Miss Crystal Hayward, for making sure I was on to that, my best friend. I appreciate her putting me on to that, making sure I watched that. Because I needed to see that. And it was very important. And so, I just thought it was a very well put together documentary about Steve McNair. Gonna miss Eric McNair. Still miss him. But you gotta check that one out for yourself. Because there's a lot about him and a lot about the story that none of us knew. And it told a lot. And so, also the last thing before we do get out of here, some NFL news that did come out. Of course, Bo Nix is named the starting quarterback for the Denver Broncos. Jaden Daniels named the starting quarterback for the Washington Commanders. Still don't know in New England if it's going to be Drake May or Jacoby Brissett. They may lean towards Jacoby Brissett. We know Caleb Williams is going to be the starting quarterback in Chicago. And, there was a lot of trolling going on by people on Anthony Richardson and the Colts, showing that Anthony Richardson ain't looking too hot. So, Colts might not be that great. We're definitely going to find out on everything. And Gardner Minshew, he's in Las Vegas. And I want to say Gardner Minshew got named the starter in Vegas, I want to say. And so I'm trying to confirm that. Yeah, Gardner Minshew is the starting quarterback. Gardner Minshew so Minshew Mania He's going to be the starting quarterback for the Vegas Raiders. So Minshew Mania continues. It never stops. Wow. But this is going to be a very fun season, in my honest opinion. It's going to be very interesting. I don't really have a lot of expectations. I want to just go watch some games, have some fun, and that's exactly what we're going to do. So we're definitely going to get into all of that. So I am not sure if I'm going to be doing a live stream of the New Orleans game Sunday, but I am going to be watching. I will give my thoughts after that. And, of course, we're going to project this 53-man roster on Monday before cut down. And so we're definitely going to do that. And then Wednesday, we will talk about the cut down. Who made the team, who made the cut, and who's on the practice squad. So we're definitely going to talk about that and everything. But all in all, again, I had a great birthday. I had a very nice low-key birthday. I was down in Florida. I want to thank my family, just for being there for me. Definitely had a good time. Tried some food at places I've never been before and definitely liked it. Definitely back on my weight loss journey, on my mental journey. So I'm definitely back on that as well. And so, we're definitely going to do it big. And so, everybody, I think that's going to just about do it. And I thank everybody for tuning in to TNT Tonight. I'm your man, Chris, a.k.a. Blue Enforcer, a.k.a. The Truth. Again, make sure y'all subscribe to the channel. Make sure you follow on Facebook, Twitter, X, and Instagram. And if nothing else, y'all, and remember, they're coming. These are coming back. And they're going to be coming sooner than you think. So I thank everybody for tuning in. You have a great night and tighten up, because that's all we know how to do. Good night, y'all.